So I'd love if you could kind of describe the environment and describe how this works. Because I think sometimes, like a lot, I know a lot of listeners are, there's teachers who are listeners and parents, and to kind of see how this environment works, like it all sounds, I can really hear like the listener saying, like, this all sounds really great, but like, oh my God, like how, what does classroom management like? Is this crazy chaos? And like, what's happening? People are individually doing work. How do people manage that? And I remember just going into when my oldest daughter was going in as a toddler, 18 months, and just being amazed at the what was happening in this like kind of like purposeful buzz of activity and just like this quiet, it wasn't super loud. Shout out to Holly Knox, who was the most amazing Montessori toddler teacher ever, which we were lucky to have. But I mean, then she did things with them like they made scrambled eggs and blueberry muffins and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, how are you doing that with 20 toddlers around? What's happening? So, maybe you could kind of imagine we're walking into a classroom and kind of describe how does this environment work for people who are kind of confused as to how there's any possible order to any of this.
So actually, what I love about, mindfulness and Montessori is they're both about intention, and we are so intentional in how we prepare the environment. And in fact, we call the environment like a second teacher, because we prepare the environment with such care, because it's not just us teaching, but their hands-on experiences. So when you walk into my classroom, there's an area where they can do like fine motor puzzles and threading and lots of manipulatives. There's even a basket. I'm working with like younger children, say under 3, so like that toddler age. And there's like a basket where they can open and close purses and find little objects inside. And so everything in that area is so engaging. They just want to go and choose something and start straight away. So if you find a child's interest, they get deep into focus, which actually helps the whole concentration, that buzz of activity you were talking about. And then if they might be attracted to the language area, and there I've got vocabulary baskets. So there'll be a basket of vehicles with different vehicles, and that they can match them to the pictures, and they're learning that a 2D object matches a 3D object. A 2D picture matches a 3D object. And then there's a beautiful, inviting self-expression area or art and craft. So where there's a tray with a pencil and some paper. There's some, next to that is my clay where they can sculpt and things like that. Then there's cutting. So we have scissors even for under 3-year-olds with strips so they can be successful at learning to snip. And there's sewing and all those kind of things. There's always an easel with paint available. And not just that the adult's going to do it, but there's actually clips that they can manage themselves so they can hang up their painting when they're done. And there's more paper at the ready, so if they want to repeat it, they can. In the reading corner, there's beautiful books that are really beautifully illustrated, very thoughtfully chosen. In lots of different subject areas. And then I have a quarter of my classroom for gross motor movement and music, so that they can climb up a climbing wall. There's a cozy cube if they want more quiet time, or they can, play in all the musical instruments and dance together. And then what you were talking about is all the baking together and doing the practical life skills. So we often spend most of the morning preparing snack, cutting apples and peeling apples, making orange juice together, and then they learn to set the table. And so the environment's so carefully prepared so that everything they see, there's only the right number of pieces to fit the puzzle. Like, we don't put out a piece of puzzle or a piece is missing, but there's also not extra pieces that don't belong somewhere, so that everything has a place and everything in its place. And then, so there's order and structure, but there's also a lot of freedom in that structure. So the child can choose whatever they like as long as no one else is working with it. And then we encourage them and we show them over time how they put it back. And the older children are modeling that. They've learned how to put things back on the shelf. So again, that mixed age group also helps. So there's so many things that go into making that beautiful hum that you talked about, but the carefully prepared environment, the mixed age groups, and then like you say, they're like a saint, these teachers who have a lot of patience, really engage the child. Or we often use fewer words, so we might just say, look, and then just really slow down our movements to show them how a lock opens, where normally we're saying, look, and it opens now. And we're just giving so much information and they don't know whether to look at us or to listen to what we're saying. And so we've practiced we're really well trained, and we've worked with these children for a very long time so that we can really accept each child for who they are, where they're at. And that's how the magic happens.
Catch new episodes of the Mindful Mama podcast and other free resources, including the Mindful Mom Guide at mindfulmamamentor.com. You can listen to every back catalog episode, including interviews with Dr. Dan Siegel, Ianla Van Zant, Sharon Salzberg, and get meditations, join our private Facebook group, and more. Go to mindfulmamamentor.com now. I'll see you there.